Hey there. Welcome to the Gyro Step, a Milwaukee Bucks podcast, proudly a part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network and GSPN. I am one of your hosts, Ti Windisch, joined as always by the maybe jovial Rohan and Katti. I asked you before we started recording, Rohan, and I said, we can save it for the pod. Well, first, how's it going? Are you jovial?
I'd say I'm getting jovial.
You getting jovial?
Yeah.
I asked you before the pod, are you in the Christmas spirit yet? You said maybe. I asked because we got our Christmas tree in the Windisch household today, so I'm covered in pine sap and needles and everything.
Oh, you do real tree?
We got both.
What?
We got two, not next to each other. So there's a front room tree and then there's a family room tree.
Is that common?
I don't know.
Do you always do two trees?
No, this is first year doing it. We've been in apartments before. Now we're in a house, so I think there's more room. Mrs. Gyro Step loves Christmas, so we're going all out.
Okay, fair enough. I think I'm getting there. It's been a busy few weeks for me, so I haven't had time to really get into the Christmas spirit. But now that things are starting to lighten up for me, I'm getting there. I'm getting there for sure. It's a great time of the year.
It is. We got a lot of compliments on the last pod about our "What Sport Could You Do" segment, which was good. So real quick, what is your favorite aspect of Christmas or just the holiday season?
Ooh, let's see.
Can be literally anything.
This is a tough question on the spot.
I know. I'd say so many directions to go.
I'd say the collective good mood that everyone seems to be in.
I think
it's the spirit of the holidays. It
really is. I feel like the older I get, the more I notice just everyone, and especially in a 4-season state when it is going to get cold and snowy, having the Christmas season to look forward to and all the special stuff that goes on, all the time off work is really nice. I mean, obviously you don't get most people don't get summer breaks or whatever, but you get some time on the holidays. Yeah, I think the vibes are the best. Are you an eggnog guy?
I was going to ask you that same question.
I like it. I do
too.
I don't go crazy, but okay. So eggnog's together next time.
Do you put a little something in there?
I've probably had it that way once, so I need to dabble more in that.
You know what I tried yesterday?
What'd you try?
Thank you to my girlfriend for this idea. It was there's this chai cream liqueur that you can put that in eggnog.
Ooh,
slaps.
That sounds good. That sounds quite good.
I'll send you the link later.
Yeah, I did White Russians, I think a year ago or 2 years ago. And that was good, but I'm in the mood for an eggnog. I've also done Jingle Juice, which is more of just an altered juice mixture that's really good around the holidays. So yeah. Anyway, the Milwaukee Bucks, they did win a game against the Atlanta Hawks on Saturday night. We are recording on Sunday afternoon. The Bucks are 14-6, technically in third place in the East, but I believe still tied in record with the second place Orlando Magic, who have the tiebreaker. Both teams one game behind the Celtics-ish. So still, Bucks are up 1.5 games behind Boston, excuse me. So Bucks are near the top of the East despite what's been a relatively uneven start. I shared the numbers on the X. Oh, I forgot. I said this in the Discord somewhere. Join gspn.discord to join. I'm making a pledge. You can make it with me if you want. I'm not going to talk about discourse on Bucks Twitter anymore. I realize I talked about it all the time. Just it's kind of been a cesspool, more than usual. So, but I shared this there. This is not related to the discourse. We're using the November 3 through now filter on the stats because that's when they started using drop coverage. They are 12-4, second in the league since then. I think only the Timberwolves have a better record. 119.4 offensive rating is 5th. 114.1 defensive rating is 12th. So they've been top 15 defense since then. And the plus 5.2 net rating is 8th. So their record's better than their overall play. Part of that is because they're the best clutch team in the NBA. They got another clutch win against the Hawks or put a game away. That was in clutch time at one point. But they've just been playing very well, even as they deal with some injuries and learning the new scheme and everything else. So the Bulls lost this week. I think we'll talk a little bit about was ugly. But overall, I feel like despite some shakiness, the level of play, I think, has actually been better than it's felt overall, at least according to those numbers. What's your take on that?
They're trending in the right direction is what I want to say about this team. Sure, you're going to have spots and areas and times where you're not going to see like, oh, this is peak Milwaukee Bucks basketball. This is their highest potential. Take that Bulls loss as the poster child for that thought. But you start to see the way that these guys are starting to play together. They're starting to mesh together. They're starting to like put on like results. I know you and Jordan talked about this on the post game pod after the Miami game, but just that last few minutes of Chris, Giannis, Dame just coalescing and that offense just humming. That's what you want to see. That's what this is for, is it not? Like we can do like this minute analysis about like not minute analysis, but get into like the small details of this team in every single second of the game. But you also want to see like these greater themes start to come out. And the best theme that we've seen so far is that when these minutes matter, this Bucks team is clicking. This Bucks team knows how to operate. Their three best offensive players, or four best offensive players, whatever you want to say about Brooke and Chris at this point, is they know how to get themselves going. They know when they need to produce. And that's the big takeaway, because we've seen this team in years past just falter when it gets to like, okay, last few minutes of the game, can you string together at least like maybe two good offensive possessions in like a 10-minute span? Is that too much to ask for? Apparently, like now you can do that 2 possessions in a row. That's crazy, right? What a crazy
Didn't know concept. That was allowed.
I don't think it is. The Bucks Adam Silver might take away a pick for a little
bit. Make the trade first. We need that Portland first or second to make something happen. Take away the 29 one, I guess.
Yeah, please let us keep the Portland pick. But you're just starting to see this team come together in ways during times that actually really, really matter. And in this case, and early in the regular season, that's clutch time, right? Like that's the best time you can see a team on the highest level is clutch time in the regular season. And this team is passing all of those tests.
Yeah, I've seen some. I saw someone, I forget who it was, I apologize, make the example of like, well, is it sustainable what they're doing in the clutch? And the shooting numbers may fall off a bit. I think Dame is still like 50-50 or 100, or might have actually fallen off after that Bulls game, although he didn't shoot a ton in the clutch, which was kind of the issue. But that someone made a reference to like apparently one of the Andrew Bogut Bucks teams had a great clutch, numbers, and then it kind of fell apart in the playoffs. This is more sustainable because they have Dame and Giannis and Chris and Brooke, and you go down the list. It is sustainable. No one can guard them. And I think even outside of just the clutch, you watch when the starters are out there. Of course, the big four are important. I think Beasley, as the Cron says here, has settled in pretty nicely in a role with that unit as well. Overall, so in that same time span from November 3rd to today, which is now a full month as of today, the Bucks starters have played 10 games together. They're 8-2 in those 10 games, 123 minutes, so a pretty decent sample. Net rating of 13.9, plus 13.9 with those 5 on. Not just in clutch, the whole games. And it goes up to plus 20 in the lineups when you take out Chris and put in Pat. So really like those 4 players, Malik plus Brooke, Giannis, and Dame, they are playing very well. And I think that's a great sign because you look at the rest of the team, the bench, Bobby Portis is a staple. Campaign is a newer guy. And then it's really outside of those 2, it's been the young wings because Connaughton twisted the ankle. Actually, I don't know if we've talked about that on the pod too much. Pat twisted his ankle, so he's just been out. We don't know how long it'll take. Hopefully not too much longer. Would be great to have him for the in-season tournament. And, of course, Crowder is still out, although we did get some info via Eric Name on an exclusive interview with Jay Crowder in The Athletic. I don't know if you saw that, Rohan?
No.
A quick he's doing on-court work already.
Oh, I did see that.
He's done a couple of on-court work sessions. He says he feels good. It sounded like the core, the abdominal issue was kind of nagging on him throughout like the preseason and even before the year, but he really wanted to fight through it and start strong after the way he ended last season. But then he felt something in that game. He exited, knew he had to get it done, but felt good about he expects to have like 50 games still when he gets back. So that would put him about 10 or so games away, which is kind of what we expected, about a month from now. But it sounds like everything's going well for Crowder, which is great news. But without Crowder and Connaughton, the bench wings are just very young. And then you're, a bad Bobby and Cam game away from really not having much production off the bench at all. I think that has hurt them as much as anything, even though late, they just kind of melted down late against Chicago. That was unfortunate. It was a very weird game. And
unfortunate's one way to put it, Ty. I was disgusted.
Oh, yeah, it was disgusting.
It was bad. It was really bad. Like you're down. What was it? DeMar, Levine, and who else? Someone else was out.
I don't know if there's anyone else important. Lonzo,
yeah, but like, yeah, I guess, but he's been out. But yeah, DeMar, Levine are just always out, or were out for this game, and those are your two most important players if you're the Chicago Bulls. So that loss is just kind of terrible and bad, but it is what it is. I remember I put the bell ringing shame gif on the stock tweet, because I was upset about it. Sorry, I was a little angry. I had to get that out.
No, you're fine. I did notice the Bulls actually, without Levine, had another 30-assist game and beat another pretty good team, which is kind of hilarious. I'm not saying the Bucks loss wasn't bad. I agree it was. The Pelicans, they had DeMar came back and had 10 assists. Kobe White had 31, 9, and 6. So at least it wasn't just the Bucks they played well against. I would expect they'll be worse without Levine, although they have not been so far. They are probably pretty ready to pull that trigger on that trade right about now. But yeah, that was just an ugly game where I think they just kind of fell apart. And again, I think late game, the starters weren't good. That was probably the only time we've seen the starters not play well late. So maybe something was just due. It felt like Dame just didn't shoot enough. I think he was making some of the right reads. They also just kept turning the ball over, which was frustrating. And I mean, Chicago made some pretty ridiculous shots late, but still, you shouldn't lose to that team. I'm not pushing back on that at all. But outside of that game, I think the starters have played very well over the last couple of weeks. And I was looking at the plus minuses from like the last 2 weeks of the net ratings, and it's literally like, oh, the starters, they're like plus 10, and then the bench guys, they're kind of getting killed in their minutes. So it was nice to see against the Hawks, Bobby Portis and Cam Payne both have big games. Because frankly, it's great that we've seen about the starters. I think we've learned a lot. Maybe not in the playoffs, but over these next few weeks as these other wings get healthy and before the trade deadline, those guys just have to play better more consistently. I mean, I think Bobby had 4 or less points on 2 straight games despite taking 8 shots in each game on the 2 games before that. Like, they just can't afford that right now.
Here's a stat about Bobby. He's played 20 games so far, right?
Yeah.
Played every game for the Bucks. In his first 14 games, he scored less than double-digit points 1 time. In the last 6 games, he's done that four times out of 6 games.
And those have been some of the hardest games for Milwaukee just because, you know, as Pat wasn't shooting well, he still gets you near 10 points. And he's a guy like, if he knows he's needed to shoot more, he will. He's a little scalable. Whereas now, if Cam is having a bad game, which some of those coincided with Bobby's, Bobby isn't scoring, then it's like Andre Jackson, 6 points on 2 ridiculous threes, right? Like MarJon, whatever he's going to have. MarJon is not in the midst of a great run of play.
Can't say that he is. He's at the stage where he's also posting on Instagram about fouls.
Oh, no. I didn't see this.
Yeah.
I mean, lately my experience with him has been like the Billy Bean meme of like, hey, Billy, this is MarJon Beauchamp. He's a phenomenal athlete who shoots the ball well, but he cannot handle it whatsoever. I mean, he's just losing the ball. He's missing layups. I don't really understand what's been going on with Large Marge recently.
Yeah, Bo Clamps has been he's been struggling a little bit, but like you don't want to give up on him.
No, and I'm not saying that.
No, I just say that because we want to make it clear that we're not like being super like, oh my goodness, MarJon's out of the rotation. No, like no. That's just not. It's just he's still a guy who needs to clean some stuff up. He's a second-year player.
Yeah. He may end up running out of it when the team gets healthier, but that's just kind of a consequence of having a hopefully deep enough team. Andre Jackson also missed the Hawks game with some back tightness. He left the game against the Bulls. He was getting more burn. I think he actually came into the Bulls game before MarJon did. It'll be interesting to see how long he's out. He was questionable going into that Hawks game. We have not seen an injury report, and we'll not see one until Monday for the in-season tournament game, which we'll talk a little bit more about the in-season tournament later. But yeah, the young wing thing has been probably what we expected, pretty up and down. I would say, though, unfortunately, more down than up over the last 10 games. I think the first 10 games were more exciting. I feel okay about my Ajax on the same level or higher than MarJon take coming in. And I feel like I'm nitpicky with him. I think maybe he's my son and we're like, I really want what's best for him. I'm kind of hard on him. But I think overall he's been pretty good. We have to see though. Like I think the injury to MarJon really knocked off his rhythm. Hopefully the same doesn't happen to Ajax. No, the injury to MarJon, his ankle knocked off his rhythm. I'm worried the same. Hoping doesn't happen to Ajax coming back from this back thing.
Yeah, hopefully not. I think Adrian Griffin kind of said it's like it comes and goes sort of thing with Ajax, like with the back spasms, which is just tough.
Yeah.
It's kind of in the name though, spasms.
Yeah.
But yeah, with MarJon, it's just more of like can you set yourself up in the right opportunities? Because in his first stint before the injury, we just saw him being able to find his spots. He was getting shots up. He was getting like I'm looking through his box scores right now. He's getting up multiple shots a game, and then when you get in like post injury, you have 2 games where he's just not even attempting a shot. I mean, less than 10 minutes, or he did that one time, didn't attempt a 3 2 times. Like it's a bunch of games where he's just being too indecisive, and that's one thing I really liked about MarJon in his first few games this season before the injury, is that he was getting to his spots. He was finding his own shot at times, like he was playing confidently. But then after the injury, I think it was more of like he doesn't trust his ankle sort of thing, or who knows what it may be. But he looked a little bit like rookie year MarJon, where he's like, oh no, I don't know what to do out here. Look like you ready for this, Ty? Look like a deer in headlights. Boom.
Nice. Probably don't use that honestly as much as we could.
We don't.
So I don't feel bad about that.
Yeah.
Do you know what Dame's shooting over the last 2 weeks? We're just bouncing around everywhere.
Shooting what? Just overall field goal percentage?
The splits, yeah.
Let's say I don't have it in front of me, so I'm not cheating.
Good.
Let's say 54% from the field, 42% from 3, 89% from free throw.
You're just a scotch high on the first two. 47 from the field, 37 from 3, and then 90 from free throw. While scoring 26, 8 assists, 5 rebounds. The 3-pointers are slowly ticking up, which has been nice to see. I know there was, still a little concern. I saw Newmark in the Discord actually say, I'm worried about Dame's efficiency. I just continue to not be. I just think he's awesome, and it shines through a lot. There's been a couple of duds still, but he's starting to get rolling, and he's also taking nearly 8 threes a game on that percentage, which, funny enough, in this span, Beasley is actually only 0.1 threes behind Dame. Dame's taken a lot of 2s, which I think has been good. I think he's got a really healthy shot diet. Bees in the last 2 weeks, 46, 43 from deep, 100 from free throw, although he has not gotten there very often. Chris Middleton still kind of shooting the 3 a little bit colder. But what stands out to you about just the starters, the bench? I mean, we can, this is a check-in on the Bucks before we get embarked on some in-season tournament, knockout stage basketball. What have you been thinking about with the team?
I've been sort of seeing, let's talk about Dame first and foremost. Damian Lillard, like you mentioned, that 3-ball starting to come back. It's one reason I wasn't too concerned with his early season shooting struggles. It's like, this is one of the greatest shooters to ever play the game of basketball. I'm not going to be too concerned over a slow start to the season for a new team, new city, new franchise in a month where he typically struggles in his career. So it's good to see that 3-point percentage start to tick up, and he's bombing away. If you look at that Hawks game, it was a little fun seeing the little Dame Trey interplay where it's just like, okay, Dame's going to be like, okay, I'll just stroll in a little bit past half court, halfway between half court and the 3-point line. Yeah, I'll just pull up. Sure, why not? And Lisa on the broadcast was like, yeah, only Dame can do that. And then it's funny, you come the next possession down, I think, and Trae Young just pulls in a little a little shorter than that. It's like, okay, here we go.
Right. Yeah.
But it's good to see Dame start to get going behind the 3-point line a little bit more. It also helps that he's getting a lot more open shots on screens now. Yeah. Because you have Brooks setting his traditional hard screens, and you have Giannis creating separation on screens now, which I think is one of the biggest takeaways from this last week. Is that Giannis learned how to Happy learned how to putt sort of thing. I've never seen that movie. I don't know.
Oh, you should.
What movie is it?
That's Happy Gilmore.
Oh,
Adam Sandler.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I think you'd like it.
Okay, I'll have to check it out. But I know the reference.
Which is
the good thing. But Yeah, you're starting to see Dame get more comfortable from beyond the 3-point line, which just opens up the rest of his game tremendously. We saw in the first part of the season, like, yeah, we might have undervalued his inside the arc play.
Definitely did.
And just being able to do that while having your 3-point shooting gravity is just unfair as a point guard. And that's why he's the top 75 guy all time. Like he's showing like, yeah, he's one of the best to ever do it.
Yeah, he is. It's been super fun to watch. I watched.
Isn't it cool that Damian Lillard?
Yeah, I was just gonna say. So at the Bulls game, I was out and about and caught like half of it with some friends, and it was just like I was just sitting there. I was like, "This is great, right?" And it's like, "Yeah, this is. This is awesome. It's really fun watching Dame on the Bucks." I'm like, I need to watch basketball with more real life people. This is great. It's like, oh, that sucks. The Bulls scored a bunch, but at least we got to watch Dame play for the Bucks again. Yeah, it has not gotten nearly old for me. I don't think it ever will as long as he's on the team. Agree with everything you said though. I've never really been concerned about it. I think as long as he stays healthy, he's going to find the rhythm. And when the games really matter, he's been steadily efficient from three. He's got to the rim. His passing's been really good for the most part. It's just been a joy. I think he and Giannis are still figuring out the exact balance, which is to be expected. I think it's taken a little longer than I expected, but that being said, they're still awesome even as they figure it out, right? Like I think the first couple of games were the most rough, but now there's still some moments where you're like, oh, that's a little bit too much, maybe hesitation or deferring to each other. But when they're in actions together, or even not, like against the Heat game, one of the fascinating things was Giannis drawing up like Dame, Chris, Brooks stuff, and then pulling Bam across the floor. The old Kawhi isolation thing teams would do against the Spurs when they had prime Kawhi of just like put your best player away from the action so he can't wreck it. Giannis doing that, I was like, oh, that's a really fun wrinkle. Like the Bucks have gotten dinged by some national analysts for not running enough Dame Giannis pick and roll. I still think they could run more. I mean, the number I put out there was 20. Some games they're pretty close to that. Some games it's maybe like half that. But one, they do a lot of non-pick and roll stuff with Dame and Giannis. Two, the Dame Brook pick and roll is awesome and will always be important for them as you stagger minutes and everything. And Brook is just a better screen setter and roller. Giannis is getting there. Brook's amazing at it, though. And I think we saw a fun wrinkle against Atlanta. It was like Bobby thriving in the dunker spot on those possessions with Giannis out. And that was how we get a lot of his points in the early going, which was nice. And three, there's just a lot of great players on the team. Obviously, there's two that are greater, but like we've seen some really fun Dame Chris stuff. We've seen, obviously, Chris Giannis is a staple. Brook has been involved. So I don't hate at all that they are not spamming that action. I think they could certainly do it a bit more, but I am personally a big fan of not going to the well too many times. And we got a really cool quote post-Atlanta game from Dame that I will read real. And then I know I talked a lot. I'll let you respond to all of this. I think that's more sustainable when it's collective, Lillard said, of 6 different Bucks scoring in the final 5 minutes. Obviously, teams are going to look at who they expect to have the ball in those situations, and they're going to try to make it difficult. And with us knowing that, we got to be willing to trust and make the next play. The more we do that, the more guys will be in situations where we need them to make a big shot or to make a free throw or finish a high-low pass or whatever, and the better we'll be. From Dame, courtesy of Eric Name of The Athletic. I think sometimes Dame could still stand to be a little more selfish, but also I just really like the idea of a more balanced offense. But what's your kind of thought on all of this Dame Giannis pick and roll conversation?
One, I think it's important, like you pointed out, to say that, maybe some pick and rolls might be more efficient, like a Dame Brook pick and roll because of the screening ability. Even though, like I mentioned earlier, Giannis is starting to get better at screening because he has to. Come on, please, Giannis.
I would say it's in a true pick and roll sense. Brook's probably a better roller too. But absolutely. If Dame gets trapped and Giannis if Giannis sees the rim at all, he's just going to get there. But anyway, go on.
Yeah, it's just trouble no matter what. But it's more of like an egalitarian offense that we had actually talked about preseason, where it's like I think we compared it to like a baby version. It could be a baby version of the 2014 Spurs, where it's like you're not going to reach that level, but do you have the pieces to make it happen? Yeah. But that's what you want to see. We've seen time and time again. You just, okay, it's crunch time. It's an important possession. You need to score on offense. Okay, Giannis, Chris, you have the ball. You go do your thing. Everyone else is going to stand around, and defenses are going to load up. Let's hope these other guys make some shots if we need to pass out of it, instead of getting everyone involved. And that didn't lead to the highest. I mean, obviously, besides the title, which is it's a big but like, you know, hey, they won a title, but what I'm trying to say is, like, in years where they've come up short, that's what's really failed them. The year they won the title, that was humming, that was clicking. But when they didn't win the title, it's because their offense let them down. And you can't like, the takeaway from those type of losses can't be, oh yeah, we just need to upgrade the way that these same plays are run. No, you upgrade the players, but you also change up the way things operate. You run a more egalitarian offense, like I mentioned, and that's what Dame is trying to say. You get everyone else involved. Defenses don't know how to react. They can't load up against every single person, because if every single person is involved and is a threat, you can't double one person, because then you're like, oh man, this guy knows what he's doing too. I can't just leave him wide open. Oh no, I can't leave Chris. I can't leave Brooke. I can't leave Dame. I can't leave Giannis. Like, you can't leave these guys open. So you just have to get everyone involved, and that allows you to really open up your offense. So yeah, would it be nice to see more Dame Giannis pick and roll? Yeah, absolutely. It should be the best scoring play in basketball. Do you need to see more Dame Giannis pick and roll at like an insanely high volume? No.
And I'd rather them not do it enough early.
What about a Giannis Dame pick and roll too? That's been pretty effective. I don't have the numbers pulled up for that. But.
I have some interesting. I don't have the plays. You need like synergy access for that. But I do have some interesting pick and roll numbers to go through here in a second. Also, if I had to pick one, over relying or under relying on it at this point in the year, I would rather under rely and find out more stuff, because I just think it's more important. The Bucks have a 100th percentile pick and roll ball handler this year. I'm going to have you guess who it is.
It's Cameron Payne.
No. 81st percentile.
Beasley.
Nope. 60th percentile. Not great for Bees so far.
100th percentile. Am I missing someone obvious? Is it
No, it's not obvious. Pat Connaughton.
Oh, of course.
Pat Connaughton, who is averaging 0.6 possessions per game, which I think in 18 games is, I can't do math, but that's not very many possessions. 12 possessions maybe. 1.6 points per possession when Pat runs a pick and roll, which is 100th percentile. Dame is 87th percentile on running pick and roll. He generates 1.08 points per possession. Giannis, though, 1.24 as the ball handler. And this has gone back a number of years now, actually. They don't do it much, but the Giannis Brooke pick and roll has actually usually been really good, because it's just hard to stop that much mass at the rim. I kind of think, weirdly, it's the same principle as the tush push. It's just like, our dudes are bigger, and it just wins. Like, it wins over time. It's just a simple like fact of physics. That is 96.7th percentile for Giannis. He's running about 4 pick and rolls per game as the ball handler, but that's really interesting. Dame's been obviously very good as well and does it way, way more. Campaign 81st percentile is fun. 1.03. That's been nice to see. He's been up and down, but overall is working out. Chris has actually started really poorly on pick and rolls for the efficiency. I wonder how much of that is just his three isn't falling.
I don't even think it's not even. I don't even know if it's that, because he hasn't like taken a ton of threes.
It's really pretty low. Well, it's a decent amount.
Let's see. What's he? He's taken.
Oh wait, I can probably look at it right here, can't I?
Let's see. He's attempting 3.8 threes per game this year, which is the lowest he's done since 2016-17.
He's turned it over a fair bit, but not a ton. He's not drawn free throws. Giannis draws a ton of free throws doing this. But yeah, he's shooting less than 37% on pick and roll shots.
And I should have used per 36 because it's the minutes, but he's shooting 6.6 threes per 36 minutes, which is the lowest since 2020, 2021. Which was the... Wait, what year was that?
Championship.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then on the rolling side, Brook and Giannis are actually virtually tied. They're both mid to high 60s percentile. Brook scores 1.25 points per possession on the roll. Giannis 1.23. I would bet Giannis has crept up too because I think he's gotten better and still has room to improve. And Bobby's been horrible. 0.83 points per possession rolling, 9th percentile. Just
tough.
Up and down year for Bob. Not been great to see.
Big Bob has been everywhere.
Yeah. Up, down, left, right, on the moon, shooting through a triangle hoop there.
On something else,
Lethal shooter on the ass.
Yep. Lethal shooter. I forgot about lethal shooting.
I'm playing the new 2K, and I have to go shoot with him.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he's in the game.
Oh, my God.
But it's like, it's actually kind of boring. Like, you just literally shoot open jumpers on a court. It's like how you pick out your hot zone in this game.
Okay.
But I'm like, why is the basket not on fire? Where are the nails?
Why am I not underwater?
It's not a very realistic experience, I will say that.
Why am I not upside down? Why am I not shooting with my feet? Why am I not doing a handstand and shooting a basketball? Like, that halftime show where that gymnast that'll shoot an arrow with their feet?
Yep.
Why aren't you doing that with a basketball court underwater?
That's a good question. Bobby is shooting 29.4% from deep, which is not ideal.
It's not ideal. You know what else isn't ideal, Ty? Giannis air balls. Those have been the worst they've ever been recently.
I was looking that up too because it felt like he always gets me. He has a couple good 3-point shooting games. For the season, it's just under 23%. And then for the last 2 weeks, it was like 12%. So
bad. It's
bad run
really
on
bad.
the Giannis threes. The middies look pretty good.
The middies look good. Just the air balls, like the one against the Bulls might have been the worst shot I've ever seen.
When was it?
It was sort of, I think it was first half.
Okay, I might have missed it.
But it was like, it wasn't even close to hitting the basket. It was like 3 feet left.
Oh, was that the one that it actually got saved?
Maybe.
It's not good if you shoot a three and you airball it and it's able to land in bounds and someone can grab it.
It's not good.
That's not a good launch angle.
No, it was one of the worst shots I've ever seen.
That's not great.
Yeah, and then he had a bad one against the Hawks. But you know what? It's okay because he's been balling out. He had a 30-point triple-double. It's fine.
It's kind of wild the Bucks are still sitting here with a 37% rate from three because a lot of their shooters have not shot well in overall this season.
The guys who have shot well are
Malik Beasley,
Campaign, Boss Man, unfortunately, is hurt.
MarJon is the next. Andre Jackson, but he just has no attempts.
I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't think I mentioned this on the pod, but that Andre Jackson shot where he banked in a three, You know what I'm talking about?
He meant to do that.
What game was that? Was that against the Heat? I think it was against the Heat.
Yeah, that was Heat.
Bro, his feet were like one of them was in front of the other.
He didn't want to. Like you could tell they made him shoot. Those were not like he's just like I got to. They told me I have to. I think
he moved his right foot in front of his left and then shot it. Like
maybe he should shoot all of them that way.
They're in a line. It was like I was like, what is happening?
Maybe
like,
that's how he aims.
That is and then the other three he hit in that game, his feet were at a completely different spots, and I'm like, this is bad process, good results, but like, that is an ugly shooting form. It's better than what it was in college. Well,
I think those were some of the worst examples. I think when he sets in the corner, he's built it up a lot.
Yeah.
When there's any variable that changes, it gets ugly again.
Yeah. Just that three that got, if the backboard wasn't there, that shot would have gone into the crowd.
Yeah. Oh, easily. That was a trebuchet.
The bank saved him.
That's kind of the next step for him now that he's cleaned up the form a little bit is just consistency.
And shooting inside the arc.
Yeah, just attempting it.
Yeah, like literally shooting. Just shooting.
Do it once. He's so bouncy.
Yeah, and it's like he'll always throw the pass. I know we're like all over the place, but that's like Andre Jackson.
Yeah, that's been his. Yeah, it's fair. I actually think the offense could improve quite a bit if when, hopefully, some of these 3-point shooters get it. Right, Brook at 36 is normal. But for the season, Dame and Chris both being within one, like both right around 33%. Chris is 32.8, Dame is 33.6. Like, I'd have to hope those will tick up over time. And then Pat as well, when he's able to get back, he's just under 34%, which is pretty low. Bobby, who knows? And then AJ Green at 30.8%. I actually want to talk about AJ Green.
Let's do it.
I liked the minutes against Atlanta.
Okay.
He was defending Trae Young, and Trae got him pretty badly once. And there was a foul call I really didn't agree with. I thought it was a really pretty bad call. And AJ kind of went to the official and got the explanation afterward. And I have to imagine he's just like, dude, it's me against Trae Young. Can you just give me a break? If I follow him, I follow him. Can you not give him his call when it's me? I'm doing everything I can. So that's what I would have said if I was AJ Green. I thought overall, though, he had a really nice pocket pass on the pick when he ran a pick and roll. The shots just continue to not fall. He is shooting 30.8%, which I just cannot imagine will hold. He's just too good of a shooter. He's in a pretty bad slump right now. He's still getting opportunities, mostly just because everyone else is out and there's really no choice. I like most of what he does. I really think with him, if he gets back to like around 40% from three, like you can play him.
You can play him. It's just like the shot it's been
just
so
gotta go
weird.
down.
It's been so weird because that's his biggest strength, right? Is his shot. Yeah. And I know he came on here and talked about how he's working on all of his other stuff too. But at the end of the day, his biggest plus to this team is his shot. And when his shot's not going down, it's so tough. It's so tough, especially because we know how good of a shooter he is. Is this a bad slump? Yeah. Has it been like the length of the season so far? Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Which is just not encouraging at all, especially when these guys are going to start to, hopefully, knock on wood, start getting healthier soon. And his role in the rotation, his opportunities are going to become more limited. You need to figure it out sooner or later if you want to have a chance of the rotation, man. Yeah,
and I don't want to dive into any serious trade stuff, at least before the ISD. But, if they were going to look at a minimum guy who's a better fit, assuming the respective brothers on the team are just going to remain, despite maybe not playing a bunch, one more than the other. AJ Green is going to be right now. They need him because of injuries. If everyone gets back healthy, I think he's. I'm sure he feels this pressure, which is probably tough and leading to a lot of this. But he has got to begin knocking down those threes at a much higher clip. Has he not missed a 2 yet?
Has he taken a 2?
Oh, no, he must have. So I'm doing the math here. He is 0.2 out of 0.3 per game from 2. So in 12 games, I'm not going to.
He is 3 of 4 on the season from 2.
Yeah.
Which is just so funny.
It is very funny. I looked this up. Who did I look up? Oh, yeah. How many twos? I don't know if you saw this in the Discord. How many twos has PJ Tucker taken this year?
It's like 3 or something.
1. Right? He's 1 for 1. He's taken 1.
Hey, they don't pay him to play offense, so
they don't pay him to play at all right now.
No, they don't. I've seen. What do you think about PJ Tucker?
I just said no trades
as a potential buyout candidate.
That's the only way I would entertain it. Because at his salary number, like I'm not giving up Pat or Bobby.
No,
for a guy who just
have to be a buyout. It would have to be a buyout.
It would have to be a buyout. I mean, ideally, it's like if they open up a roster spot through something else. Again, if you're not going to cut, the other Lopez or the other Antetokounmpo, like I wouldn't even want to cut AJ Green or like to add PJ Tucker. Maybe that sounds crazy. I do worry about a guy that just won't do anything offensively, as we've talked about with Ajax, like making it much easier to play against this team's offense.
It's tough. It's not like really, you're not really adding a ton.
Like, as we talked about, I think part of the reason the starters work and they've been so good offensively in crunch time is like, even if you want to prioritize somebody over, like, ignore someone for Dame or Giannis, you don't feel good about leaving B's wide open. I mean, he's been a consistently very good shooter the whole year. And he has some really bad lapses, but he fights defensively. Like, I need to see Boss Man come back and play very, very well, or a trade probably at this point for me to unseat Beasley. Like, I don't think Andre Jackson has earned it. Certainly MarJon hasn't. Pat didn't. Like, you can't just take him out because you think someone would fit better if that someone isn't playing at a high level, especially with the success that unit is having. So honestly, I think Beasley being such a factor offensively is really important to that unit, even if ideally, of course, as we've talked about, you'd love a defensive plus in there too. They have gotten some stops recently, occasionally.
You saying that as a positive is really funny.
I know.
They've gotten some stops occasionally.
12th ranked defense over the last month. Can we before we move to IST talk? I think we should just point out, because we haven't said this a bunch, offenses are just really good this year.
Oh yeah,
like it's just up. Like the numbers aren't the numbers they used to be. The Discord used to track like 30-point quarters the Bucks give up. The average NBA team this season scores like nearly 29 points a quarter. Giving up 30 is very slight variance on an average offensive quarter.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Like you see these two teams that are like in the Bucks and Hawks putting up like both like near 40-point quarters. And it's that's kind of what's expected. It's like those are two above average offenses. They're going to put up 40 and a quarter.
Yeah.
Like it's just normal, which is crazy. Like this isn't the era where it's like, oh yeah, 25 a quarter. That's what you would expect. No. Why would you expect 25? Unless you're the Pistons. Like that's not. Like,
Pistons what you're scoring. That's not what you're allowing either.
Yeah.
Oh,
Man,
the
Pistons are sad.
Dude.
They're so sad.
I think, is it 17 or 18 straight losses now?
It's one of the two. I can check really quickly.
I mean, oofta.
It is 17.
They had a better game with Bojan back, but they still lost.
Yeah. They started the season 2-1, have been 0-17 since.
Dude, imagine if the Bucks had traded the pick they needed to get Dame for Bojan Bogdanovic before last playoffs.
Did you see the report that they turned down 2 first-round picks? It might have been a first and a swap. Maybe it was the Bucks.
I don't think the Bucks would have put more than one, if one, on the table.
Can you imagine though if they turned down that package that they got for Dame?
The Dame picks for Bojan Bogdanovic. Well, I think about too with Beal. Beal is Beal going to play it all this year? Extended? Maybe not. His back thing is it's sad. It's scary.
It's really unfortunate.
But like again, this close. The Bucks wanted him. He picked Phoenix. Like would have been no Dame. It would have been over.
Yeah,
it's crazy how things work out.
Yeah, the thing is, we wouldn't have known though.
No. Well,
no,
yeah, true.
Yeah. So in that timeline, we'd still be oblivious and happy.
No, we wouldn't be happy. Imagine the defense is this bad, but your star point guard just doesn't play. We would not be happy in this reality.
That's true.
We would be very, very unhappy if it's just like, oh my God, Giannis' usage percentage is 50 and they're a 500 team. This sucks.
Oh, maybe Giannis doesn't sign the extension.
Let's not.
We don't live in those realities.
We don't.
We live in this reality where they got Damian Lillard and Giannis signed the extension.
Yes. And in this reality where you can use promo code Eurostep to get up to a 100% match on your first deposit, up to $100 at Sleeper, the best place to play daily fantasy. And as we do once a week here on the Eurostep, we're going to walk through some of our picks from the last week or so. So I went back a couple of games because I had a really fun winning slate I wanted to share. But honest Rohan here, never told a lie, chopped down a cherry tree, has a 6-part daily fantasy set of picks that did not work out. So you want to run us through this, Rohan?
It was so close. It was so close, Ty. So like you mentioned, there were 6 parts to this. First, we were talking a little bit before we started recording. My sleeper strategy is just put together for NBA.
Wild, man.
Put together some crazy first quarter.
He's cooking.
My first quarter, like the reason for that is like I do that for Bucks games because because then the rest of the game it's like, okay, cool, I'll
have to think about it.
Yeah, I don't have to think about it.
That's
nice. Like I like having the ability to do first quarter ones.
Yeah.
So it's like sort of an instant gratification sort of thing, if you would. Which in this case I did not.
Yeah.
Because for this first quarter one, I started off real hot.
I mean, wow.
The projection for Dame's first quarter assists was 2.5. I said more. And he ended with 4. He had 4 assists, so I was right on that. Boom. Clint Capella, he's a smaller center against behemoths of the Bucks and Giannis and Brook Lopez. Projection of 2.5 first quarter rebounds. Choose lower. Boom, only gets 2.
Also, these teams just didn't miss enough shots for him to get any rebounds, which helps too.
Yeah. But the thing is, sometimes like the Bucks will take some deep shots and it'll be long rebounds to guards. So yeah, Trae Young, projection of half a rebound in the first quarter, boom, gets one.
Dude, Trae Young, 1 rebound in the first quarter, living or dying on Trae Young grabbing that is, well, do you remember when he got it?
No.
If that was one of the later ones, I would have just been so sick. Like, why the hell did I put? And then he gets it, like, yes, I knew it.
But I think it was around middle of the quarter. But Chris Middleton, he's a guy like I mentioned, the behemoth Bucks, Giannis and Brook front line. You're not leaving a lot of rebounds for your guards or your wings. So Chris Middleton projected 1.5 first quarter rebounds. Boom, go less. He gets 1. I'm right. Giannis against a team, he likes to exercise those demons. A small team, like Clint Capella, like I mentioned, starting center. Onyeka Okongwu. He always figures these guys out sooner or later. So I was like, yeah, Giannis is going to go ham, especially after that Bulls loss. He's going to go out there. Projection of 8.5 points in the first quarter. I want more. Gets 9. I squeak by. So I'm 5 for 5 so far.
I mean, you got to be feeling so good watching these things roll. That's the best part about when you make the picks, you make the daily fantasy picks, you watch them versus the projections. Like, oh, that one rolled in right away. Oh, this is going to be a good day.
Yep. And
until
then Malik Beasley.
Oh.
I've mentioned before. He usually gets a projection of 2.5 first quarter points. I usually go over, I usually say he's gonna score more than that. I went with my guts. He didn't even attempt a 3 in the first quarter. Ended with 0 points. Only took 1 shot. It was a 2-pointer. So it's not like I needed him to get a 3. If he made two pointers, made 2 in a tech. It's just you need to score more than 2.5 points. Didn't score a single point. Couldn't do it.
That's a tough.
I put $3 on
that. I might dabble in some more first quarter because you do make it look fun.
You're the one who got me on the first quarter.
Well, yeah, because I do and I got you on this losing play as well because I love the Dame first quarter assists and B's first quarter points because Dame has before gone out of his way to feed B's, but in that game, unfortunately, he did not.
I was so close.
I was cooking against Miami. Going into this game, I had noticed a trend. Brook Lopez has been passing more, but his projection was just half an assist. He ends up with 4, so blew that one out of the park. The sad truth of always selecting the opposing point guard to have more points. Kyle Lowry was projected at 10.5. He literally exactly doubled that. So I think, again, that was a first halfer that I was good. Those top 2, I think Brook had an assist pretty early on. So I was like, oh, file that away. Dame, 32 points. Hey, listen, crucial in-season tournament game. We know he's given it his all. Or he ended with 32. His projection was 26.5, so ended up beating that. And then Giannis nearly had a triple-double in this game. The projection, just 4.5 assists. Actually, he had 5. Never mind. He had 5 assists. I can't read. I need my cheaters. But I figured Giannis would be passing a bit more against Miami because usually they defend him well. Honestly, he was scoring a bunch, so this one had me really concerned. But he ends up with exactly enough assists to beat that projection of 4.5. So get in on the action with us. I will share on social or in the Discord, one or the other. I've got a really fun set of picks cooked up for Packers Chiefs tonight as we record. So if you want to play daily fantasy, NFL, NBA, pretty much all sports in there, it is super fun. Download the Sleeper app and then use that promo code Eurostep to get a quick double on that first deposit. All right, Rohan. The in-season tournament, the Bucks went 4-0 in their seeding games to clinch the top seed.
You could say they were undefeated, never lost.
Never lost. They've never lost in the season tournament game. Hopefully that continues. So a quick refresher for folks on the format. So 4 teams from each conference make it. The first games are in home markets. So there's an extra Bucks game. I actually have heard in our Discord, gspn.info, again, to join. I've referenced it a lot in this podcast. It's a great place. Heard there's a lot of tickets available because this was not It's not season tickets or anything because the game wasn't on the schedule. So it counts as one of the 82 regular season, as does the next round if the Bucks do make it there. But you can go watch in person if you want to see the first ever Bucks, or really the first ever. It'll be tied probably. No, it'll be the second ever.
It'll be the
Eastern Conference season tournament game. Anyway, if you want to watch Bucks-Knicks in Milwaukee because they are the first seed on Tuesday night at 6:30 p.m. Central. If the Bucks beat the Knicks, they then play on Thursday, either at 4 p.m. Central or 8 p.m. Neither are really ideal start times. Neither ideal.
Crazy scheduling.
No idea why it's a 4-hour difference.
2 p.m. start in Las Vegas.
That is nuts. Yeah, I don't love that. But we do want them to make it anyway. That'll be on Thursday if they win. So it'll be Tuesday, Thursday. And then we figured out December 9th is Saturday, correct?
Yes.
So if they win.
We figured that out. We're the first people to ever figure out.
We did the math. We did the calculations on that.
Breaking news, everyone. December 9th is a Saturday.
This year.
You're welcome.
Not every year.
It will be in, this year.
Yeah, don't try and figure out. You never know when the leap year is lurking.
What do you mean you never know when the leap year is?
I mean, offhand. I don't know when it's coming next.
You don't know when the next leap year is?
No. Why you're so shocked at this? When's the next leap year?
It's every 4 years.
Well, when's the next one?
Next year.
Okay.
It's every 4 years.
Yeah, I don't keep track of it.
Leap year, presidential election, Summer Olympics are always the same year.
They're
always the same year.
Doesn't matter to me.
What do you mean you don't know when a leap year is?
I know that there's one every 4 years. I don't keep track of when it is. Now that I know it's presidential, I'd not heard the presidential election thing. Now that I know that, I probably will.
And Summer Olympics.
I do not keep in mind the Summer Olympics.
Oh, now you know when it is.
That's true.
It's whenever a leap year is.
I love that you're just like stunned. I don't know when the leap year is. Like it really affects my life.
Like every February, do you just like, hey, is this when it? Is this when it?
Pretty much. You don't know what day of the week it is at any given time, but you know exactly when the next leap year is. How does it help you if you don't know what day of the week it is, Rohan? Reprioritize.
Yeah, you might have gotten me there.
It's like, you don't know what leap year it is? It's a Saturday afternoon and you don't know when the next... Oh, wait. Anyway, in-season tournament. So the Bucks play the Knicks Tuesday night, 6:30 p.m. Central. Bucks win. They go to the semifinals, one game away from the championship. And, of course, if they win the semis, they go to the finals. They will play, even if they lose to the Knicks, they will play another game that week. So they would play whoever loses out of Pacers Celtics, I believe. The Bucks will be matched up against, I think probably on Thursday or Friday, some other time later that week. So even if they don't win against the Knicks, which we sure hope they do, they will still end up playing another game because these two games, Knicks and then the next one, are 2 of the 82. So they were scheduled out 80. They will play 82 regular season. If they go to the championship, they have an extra game that, like the play-in game, does not count toward anything except for winning the in-season tournament. So kind of weird, but don't really care. Very excited to watch. And I teased this a little earlier. Probably should have done this at the beginning of the pod. Kind of weird to do it now. But we will be covering the in-season tournament like it's playoffs. We will have preview pods and post-game pods for every, up to 3, in-season tournament game. Because we've been saying we're excited about it. We are backing that up. We are walking the walk. Which starts with tomorrow afternoon. There will be a Knicks-Bucks preview with some opposition intel up on this feed. And then after the game, we will record, and then ditto for any other in-season tournament game. So very exciting to get a little spice in our lives in early to mid-December.
That's what they call me.
A little bit of spice. Your garam masala? Mr. Garam Masala?
There you go. That's a reference to a tweet, by the way. He's not. Don't cancel him.
Oh, yeah. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I got you back.
Oh, man. I didn't even... That's me. I didn't even think about that implication. Whoops.
That's a tweet. I tweeted, okay?
Yeah.
There is backstory to this.
Oh, boy.
Let's move on swiftly.
Yeah.
But the Bucks against the Knicks.
Talk about it a little bit here. I know we'll do a whole deep dive. I think we're both doing Knicks previews as well.
We are both doing Knicks previews.
I mean, I know Randall's playing better, so I think that's the big change probably for the Knicks at this point versus the last time. Randall was horrible in the last, but which was the first seeding game of the in-season tournament. But still, I just think like the way they're built, the Bucks have such an advantage because they have a big, not very stretchy 4 and a not stretchy at all 5. And we just know like when Giannis and Brook can be comfortable in the paint, even with the guards giving up a lot, like I'm sure Brunson will have a good game. I just think Milwaukee has a pretty big advantage there.
They do. The thing is with the Knicks, though, is they have that elite rim protection in Mitchell Robinson, who, by the way, just turns out is just a great human being. Do you see that story about Mitchell Robinson?
He's got his college coach living with him after the coach's wife sadly passed away.
Visited her every day in the hospital. Just great dude.
And he wasn't even going to tell anyone. Somehow they found out from the coach.
Yeah, the coach said it in an interview.
Mitchell Robinson tweeted, I think last night, he was like, I just didn't do it for social media. So it's cool people found out, but just wanted to support and love that family, which that is very, very cool.
Yeah. And not only a good person, but an elite rim protector. He's someone with real size. He's someone that kind of bothers Brook Lopez more than any other center really in the league. Because he's just like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm also 7'1" and with a massive wingspan and can just move. So he's one guy that gives Brook a little bit of trouble. But yeah, I do like the matchup. I do think it'll be a little bit closer than people like to think. Going back to that group play, this will be the second time the Bucks and Knicks play because they were in the same group. The Bucks won that in their first ever in-season tournament game. And even though they had a big lead, the Knicks almost came back. So it'll be an interesting one for sure.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of it will come down to how the other Knicks shoot from deep. Jalen Brunson shooting a pretty insane 47%. Is actually his 3-point percentage is higher than his field goal percentage, which you don't see that very often. I think he's just going to have a good day pretty much no matter what. It's about not letting it be an absurd day and then really not letting too many other guys cook. Been kind of a weird year for the Knicks, to be honest. Like, did you see the thing where Josh Hart was kind of agitating about not playing as much and he played a bunch of minutes the very next game?
Yeah, and then he scored like 15 points in 3 minutes or something.
Yeah. They played Evan Fournier once for 15 and a half minutes, and he was terrible.
That's par for the course.
Reminded everyone why he has not been playing at all. Deuce McBride has not been playing a ton and not shooting the ball very well. Josh Hart, until that explosion, hadn't been shooting very well. Quickly, numbers are down. He's still scoring quite a bit, but his shooting, his 3-point percentage, I should say, is a little bit down. Dante's knocking down the threes.
Of course. You know Dante's going to have a big game against the Bucks.
I am a little worried about that, yes.
It's just going to happen. Dante, it's just like he's the guy who will only like that's not to because I like him as a player. I know I had campaigned for him to maybe come back to Milwaukee this offseason.
Yeah.
But he will do it against his former team.
See, I thought Randall had heated up more in the Knicks' last 10 games, 30% from 3. Also, RJ Barrett, 25% from 3 in that span. He's battled some injuries, but may have cooled off a little bit. Also, in the last 10, Jalen Brunson, 51, 50, 81 splits. So, yeah, he is going to be a problem. Hopefully, Andre Jackson is able to go because they could use as many different defensive options to throw at that guy as possible. Although I will say, the campaign tries, man. He fights. He's just little. He's just
very, very small. Very small dude. Hope maybe Andre Jackson will get some run in that game if he's back, but we shall see. Like we mentioned, you and I will both be doing Knicks previews, so let's talk about maybe Indiana, Boston.
Yeah, I was going to say, who would you rather see?
Indiana.
I want more cracks at Boston.
That's fair. There will be no Kristaps Porzingis in this game, as he is in Latvia. As he posted on his Instagram story that he's in Latvia.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. He was out for like a week with another injury, but I didn't know he just went home.
Yeah.
That's odd.
It is odd.
Well, maybe he had something going on with the family. That's interesting.
Yeah, but then you see all these Celtics people like, yep, guess he's out.
Okay. Yeah, I guess he's not going to be playing for a little bit here.
Yeah. It looks very nice in Latvia, though.
I'm sure it is.
Very snowy.
Oh.
It's got like 5. It looks like Wisconsin in like mid-February.
Yeah. That's good. It's good for him. Yeah. I like more cracks at the Celtics. I thought the Celtics probably played a B- game and the Bucks played a D game for most of the game last time. It would be fun to watch them match up again. The game will be it'll be in Vegas though. So it'll be a neutral site game either way.
Unless the Pacers and Knicks win, then it'll be.
Yeah. Then they
there's still another chance the Bucks and Celtics can play this week, just not in the in-season tournament.
I wonder, I think the Bucks would probably have to go on the road if they lose, right?
I think so.
Because they obviously get a home game here.
I think so.
Although
it's possible.
But if the Celtics win, the Pacers also had a home game. So they could have a different amount of home games than that'd be interesting.
It would be interesting for sure.
Unless they do, who cares? Whatever, it doesn't matter. I think it's exciting though. Either way, we get to see them play another good East team. I've seen some people kind of whine about either if they didn't make the tournament, having to play two good teams, or if you make it, you make your strength of schedule harder. I mean, they play 82. You're not going to make or miss the playoffs. This level of team is not going to. Well, actually, the West teams maybe they would, but the East teams probably not going to make or miss the playoffs based on 1 or 2 games. I like being able to see them play good teams, even though the Bucks have not played their best ball and they're a little banged up. It's good measuring stick games. I thought that about the last Celtics game. If they play them again, I'll think the same about that. Same with the Pacers, who have they did cool down a bit, and then Tyrese Halliburton sits against Miami and they score 144 points with Jimmy Butler playing. TJ McConnell looked great in that game.
Yeah, Heat culture, baby.
The grittiest, nastiest, most whatever. But then I guess that's
conditioned.
That's the fun part though of making it this far in the IST is that you're going to get 2 fun Bucks games this week no matter what, and hopefully we get 3 very competitive ones. Here's one more question for you. Who would you rather see in the championship from the West? It's an odd group. Lakers, Kings, Pelicans, Suns are the 4 who made it.
I'm not really scared of any of those teams.
No.
I think maybe the Suns.
That's the best Bucks matchup for sure. Not who they match up with the best. That's the best. Oh, the finals is Katti and Booker versus Giannis and not Beal and Dame with all the history.
I thought you were gonna say Beasley.
Katti
and Booker gets.
Dude, I don't know if this is real. I saw they were hyping a Pats game coming up, and they put Belichick versus a player as the 2 faces of the game because the Pats roster is so mid. Imagine being like, oh, dude, Bill Belichick's coaching a Pats game. I got to tune into that.
Are they going to put Ramondre Stevenson?
They might have to. Is Jonnu Smith? No, he's on the Falcons now. They don't even have him anymore, I don't think.
I don't know.
It was very, very funny.
That's so funny.
Just Bill up there. But I think the history the Bucks have with KD and obviously with the Suns and Booker, I think that would probably be. But if you play LeBron, that's always fun. And honestly, I like that matchup for Milwaukee.
I don't hate any of these matchups for Milwaukee. I think you might want to say if you want to say Bucks best chance, maybe the Pelicans.
Yeah,
because that's the worst team out of those 4.
Yeah,
and they're still pretty good.
Lakers are up there.
Yeah,
I don't fear the Pels at all. Again, it's like Zion relying on paint pressure. I know he'll get there sometimes, but
hey, by the way, Zion's been playing.
Yeah, he's been playing.
Yeah,
hasn't been getting the rim. The rim frequency's a little down. People are a little concerned.
That was a point of contention between us this offseason.
It is December 3rd, and you are victory lapping, and it's a fair victory lap given on his past seasons, but it just shows you how fraught that situation is. I think Kings is maybe the worst matchup.
I think so too. They're too fast.
Yeah, they're so fast and they're so small. Yeah, that's the hardest to guard.
Yeah, they're too fast. And I think the Kings are the worst matchup.
I don't want them the most because I hate watching Sabonis play.
Why do you hate watching him?
Because he is the worst kind of punk player in that he is very aggressive and physical. He slams into guys all the time, tries to be as aggressive, and then on the other side, flops so hard. And that combination pisses me off, honestly, even more than guys who are super aggressive to the point of it seeming dirty, if they're consistent with it. It's the mix-up of you see him every play, slams into Brooks, slams into Giannis, everything else. A guy puts an arm on him and he goes flying. It's okay, I don't respect your game at all.
Yeah, that's fair. That's valid.
That's probably my most random. He didn't even have I think he got into it a little bit with the Bucks in a game last year. Remember the Bucks won that game in Sacramento? It was a big deal. But I came away from that game, I was I hate watching this guy play. I saw Draymond try to put him through the floor. I still felt bad, but I was Draymond shouldn't do that. But
you took Draymond's side?
No, I didn't. But I was just well, at least it wasn't someone I actually liked that he did that to. Draymond and the Warriors are.
The Warriors are.
They are spiraling, baby.
Can we have a Steph Curry, please? We don't need one. We have Damian Lillard.
Just have both.
I don't know if you'd want both.
I'll take both.
Would you want both?
Yeah, I would take both. Yeah, sure. I'll take both.
Really?
Yeah, of course. You think the offense is good now?
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Come on. Who cares? Nothing matters.
Fifth starter Steph Curry.
Anyone. I mean, outside of him. Anyone. Literally any guys. Throw in whoever you want.
Yeah. No, let's say you trade your entire bench for Steph Curry. Then it's like a starting five of Dame, Steph, Giannis, Chris, Brook.
I think it has to be Chris, Bobby, and Pat probably for the salary.
Oh, dang.
We probably do need to hold Brook in this. We really need Brook in this scenario.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But no, they are. I mean, Clay is a whole ugly, weird thing. It's like really glad they just keep signing Chris. And they just don't get in this situation with Chris because this is sad and pretty ugly what's going on with Clay. Draymond's getting thrown out for 5 games, feels like every week at this point. Steph trying his best. Mitten just got hurt, which is sad. Has struggled with that a lot. So not good over there. I think they're 10th or 11th right now, under 500.
Yeah, it's just it's not good. It's not good.
Oh, CP is out too.
Yeah. Apparently he doesn't like Mitten, by the way.
Sorry.
He likes Young Glove.
No. Ew. No. It's not how this works.
No. The only person who's gotten away with that is KD.
And he didn't even pick one. No, because his picked one didn't work. He just shook off the other ones.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he didn't in terms of like being able to shake off a nickname.
Well, I think the problem with KD's nick. This is a good last topic. He had too many good ones, so that none of them won, which almost happened to Giannis too. People really pushed alphabet soup for like years, but thankfully,
I don't like it.
I think Giannis liking Greek Freak cemented it. But thankfully, Greek Freak won out.
Can I? This might be a little controversial.
Okay.
I don't like A-Train that Marcus keeps pushing.
Well, who's that? What is that? Is that what he talks about Giannis?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I don't like that either.
I don't like it either.
That's bad.
I'm sorry, Marcus.
Marcus is one miss. Everyone gets one.
It's just they both him and Lisa push it every game, and I don't like it.
I mean, I guess if it's like just the specific physical action of him going to the rim and not an overall nickname, but it's still not necessary.
Yeah, they'll be like, "Here comes the A-Train," and it's like, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, don't love it.
It's like Antetokounmpo starts with A, and it's like,
yeah, I get that, but I just don't.
But it's like I don't know.
We don't even have a train. We don't really have I guess the Amtrak, but you don't want to compare Giannis to an Amtrak.
No, not in its current state.
No, yeah, exactly.
No, maybe when that Green Bay expansion comes for the draft.
Dude, I'm hoping, man.
Is it not confirmed?
I don't think anything is confirmed. I thought that was just like someone's good idea.
Oh, man.
If there's one that goes through the Fox Valley to Green Bay, I'm going to be living so large, dude. As a Fox Valley resident. Yeah, let me motor on up to a Packer game and not have to drive home. Let me just go to Milwaukee for a weekend at any point. And again, not have to bring a car. Be elite.
Let me just go to a Herd game every now and then.
Exactly. Well, that's going to happen anyway. I'm dragging you back up here.
Yes. But it would make it so much easier.
Chris Livingston, Herd debut. A couple of games against the Motor City Cruise. That's some moments. Still intriguing, even if he's still a year away. I'm clearly not going to get, unless things get really bad, knock on wood, not going to get my wish of him getting too much regular burn at the NBA level. So I'm glad to see him play with the Herd and get some more run in, and still intrigued long term. He's the kind of player that they need, which is the case for MarJon and Andre Jackson Jr. too.
Andre Griffin Jackson.
I know. We haven't talked about. I don't know if there's been too much talk about with Griffin, but we haven't really touched on him.
There hasn't been a ton of talk with Griffin. I guess like the one thing you could say is like the foul up 3 against the Bulls.
Yeah. So we can let. So the do you remember exactly? It was if their back is to the basket within the 3-point line, they were going to foul. But
yeah, if they catch with their back to the basket, foul.
Within the 3-point.
Yeah, within
so
the 3-point.
So that was the issue, is that they didn't specify outside, which is why Brook didn't foul. Brook and Bees both said after the game, we probably should have fouled anyway. And then also they didn't want to foul within 5 seconds because of the fear of the shot is about to be going up anyway. And you don't want a shooting foul up 3 beyond the arc because that's how then you can end up. Obviously, you could lose the game on that, or even if you foul and then they get 3 free throws. So I don't think it was as cut and dry as maybe it seemed after the game. Caruso also just hit an incredible shot because I didn't think – so the action where Chris was the one who I guess switched on to – or no, the Bees and Chris defending 2 guys. I think it was Chris called for a switch he shouldn't have on Caruso. Bees couldn't get over, and that's why Caruso was open. I thought just kind of a bad carried out defensive play as well. They just need to work. I think switching is probably what they're worst at defensively in terms of actually carrying out the scheme, not what's least effective. But yeah,
I'd agree. I'd agree with that. It's more of like it's how you switch versus just switching in general. Yeah,
that was just I think Chris called for it and he shouldn't have in that situation. But anyway, but I like that they had a follow-up 3 plan. And I think it missed a scenario. And then after the game, Griffin was basically like, yeah, I think next time we would follow Vucevic. And we added that now to the, I guess, order of operations for how we know what to do, which is I haven't really heard.
They learned.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
I mean, you lose to Elmer Fudd and the Bulls, but it's tough. It's a learning experience.
Dude, that game, there were so many moments where it's just like, can we just keep Caruso? Can we just find a way? But also, you know what worried me, though? Like 3 different times I saw him on the ground holding a body part, and I was like, oh, God. Every game I'd be concerned about him being hurt.
Yeah. Did Wes Matthews get a tribute video?
People yelled at me about this. He should have. I don't know if he did. Someone who was at the game may have to confirm.
Yeah, someone who was at the game, please confirm, because I hope he did.
He should have at least gotten a moment. Like, if they don't give him a full video, hopefully they announced it and people
welcome
clapped.
Back Wes Matthews.
Yeah.
Because he deserves it. He absolutely deserves it. It's one of the biggest disappointments of this last year is that they couldn't win a ring for Wes.
I know, two good shots, but neither actually not great shots, but
yeah. Also does bode well for this year because it's like the one year they took Wes out of the table.
I know, that's why I'm kind of torn. I toyed around with the idea of bringing him back, but
would you rather have Wes or PJ? I think Wes.
I would agree with Wes, although both have the same issue of just oldness. Old. Yeah, old.
BNP old.
Yeah, which is actually happening to PJ.
Yeah. It's actually, I was like, it's not happening to Wes. It's happening to PJ.
No, Wes was hurt. Now he just got back, which has been an issue for him the last couple of years.
Yeah, which is why I lean Wes. Because it's like, if he's available, he will play.
Yeah.
And he deserves to play. It's just an availability versus old thing. But I don't know. I don't know if either of those two will ever even have a chance. I just like reminiscing about the old days.
I know. I do too. I think the thing with PJ, just as we went through all the guys who aren't shooting well, like PJ, Giannis, Bobby, all out there for probably one of them for like the whole game if you had all of them in the rotation. It's just a lot of non-shooting.
Yeah, we've seen it.
Yeah, we have. Well, Bobby was shooting a little better in that run, but yeah.
Yeah, we've seen it. It just leads to a lot of clunky offense.
Yeah.
And you don't have PJ playing that elite level defense that he used to.
I was watching Torrey Craig. I was like, hey there. How you doing? The guy who didn't play you is gone. I don't know if you heard.
You can come back.
Vet minimum, very easy to fit in. Hey, what's up, Torrey Craig?
Hey, Torrey Craig hit my line, you know?
Yeah, HML. I just wish if Javon was a little bigger. He's not playing much. I think he's very available. But you got to give up a core piece for him.
I'm glad he got his bag, but
I said we wouldn't do trades, and here we are.
Yeah.
One more I want to throw at you. One more.
Ooh.
Not an in-depth trade. We're not doing full trades.
LeBron James.
No, that'd be fun. Get a buyout, LeBron. How do you feel about Davion Mitchell?
Runs into the same issue with Javon a little bit.
He's a little small. I think he's a little bigger, but I think he's a switchable
he's a
guy.
little bigger.
But also the offense has been real bad this year, and he just can't shoot threes. So it's like, if the guy can't shoot at all, I need him to probably be a legit 1-3 defender, not a point guard.
I need him to be Kawhi Leonard on defense.
No, but I need him to be at least Caruso.
Yeah.
Or close to it, which I don't think Mitchell is. I think Caruso is big enough to – I mean, he guards wings. Like, I don't know if Davion can do the same. Maybe he can.
Yeah. Depends on the trade, but I'm probably out.
I'm still a Matisse guy, as dirty as it makes me feel.
You probably don't need a trade for him.
Why? What does that mean?
Might get cut.
Oh, he just signed a 3-year deal, I think.
I know, but I'm saying he's that caliber of player. He
is not. He is not.
In my eyes.
He shoots the 3 now. He's a great on-ball defender.
For the Trailblazers.
So? It's harder to shoot the 3 there.
Why?
Because their guards don't get in on the basketball. They suck. They're terrible.
Saying Malcolm Brogdon and Shaedon Sharpe.
Malcolm's okay. Malcolm's okay. The rest of them.
What about Brogdon?
Makes too much. He's like $20 million. And it's like the same, like triple the Caruso injury concern.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got to give up Pat and Bobby to get him, and he might just not be there, you can't afford that.
No, you can't.
What was I going to say before I said that? Oh, the idea that like the bad stats or good stats, bad team guys. I do not think it applies to efficiency at all. I think it's the opposite. I think just raw PPG is where that comes in. AKA,
fair enough.
AKA, I see what you're doing, Alex Caruso. Or not Alex Caruso. Kyle Kuzma. What am I doing? Wrong old Laker.
Yeah, wrong.
Clearly time to wrap this up. I'm confusing Caruso and Kyle Kuzma. Did I mean Kuzma this whole time? Who knows?
Yeah, would you take Kyle Kuzma?
It's the same issue. I mean,
I'd take Kuzma. I'd take Kuzma in a heartbeat.
Pat and
Makes
Bobby?
Too much, though. Makes too much.
I think it's Pat and Bobby and maybe more.
Okay, let me check. As we wrap this
Said
up
we wouldn't do trades, and here we are. It's my fault.
Yeah, it's your fault, though.
It's always my fault.
My internet's being slow.
People still listening are fine. They'll take what they can get at this point.
Yep. Fans. This is how you know we're at the end.
Yep.
Okay, NBA trade machine.
Okay. Oh, if anyone, it's not going to be up, but Talking the Tundra is going to be live on YouTube tonight. Just learn that.
Let's see. Who does he play for? The Wizards.
The Zards.
He makes 25.5.
Oh, so Pat, Bobby, MarJon probably is what it would take, which is a lot.
Let's see. Bobby, Pat, and MarJon. Let's see. Does this work? It can happen after January 15th.
Yeah. I mean, that gives you a pretty crazy starting 5.
It does give you an insane starting 5. Like,
I don't think
Chris up to the 3.
Yeah.
Or the 2, excuse me.
That's actually kind of concerning in some facets.
Or do you have Kuzma be your super sub?
Maybe.
If you're trading away Pat and Bobby.
Yeah. Otherwise, there'd just be Malik Crowder.
6'9" ball handler who can pull up.
Yeah. Got to find a center somewhere. I'm not ready for the Robin Lopez experience.
Did you really lose one?
Well, that's where he's playing. Bobby. Yeah. Big Bob. Big Bob. Of course he's a center. He's big.
Yeah. Big Bob. Okay, let's wrap this up.
Yeah.
So, like you mentioned, make sure you check out Talking the Tundra after the fact because the big game in Lambeau. The hills of Green Bay. You see that?
Yeah, they put Travis Kelce on a big hill.
Yeah, it's like, yep, you've clearly been to Green Bay before.
Yep.
The Kansas City Chiefs versus the Green Bay Packers. Big game for the Packers. I think according to playoff probability, if they win this game, it goes up to a 63% chance. But if they lose, it's like 27.
Oh, wow. I didn't know it was that draft. I thought they had a better shot regardless. That's surprising to me. I
think they do have a better shot regard. I think it was just one model. It was ESPN's model, I think.
Gotcha.
But it's a big game. It's an important game for young Jordan Love. No Aaron Jones, I believe, right?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Yeah, so it'll be a big game for sure. Can't wait to watch that. Make sure you hear Jordan and Newmark break down that game after the fact at Talk of the Tundra. Find all of our links to all of our podcasts at gspn.info. Like we mentioned, we'll have some sort of cross post happening for Bucks Knicks preview for the in-season tournament. Look for that on our feed on Monday. And also, like you said, we're going to have a post-game pod for each in-season tournament game, starting with this Knicks game, hopefully not ending with this Knicks game on Tuesday.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed we get more than one game out of this. But yeah, we'll have you all covered for the IST. Can't wait to talk about that. Like we mentioned, check out everything at gspn.info. Make sure you're subscribed wherever you're listening to this, whether it's your podcast platform of choice or you're watching on YouTube. Leave a 5-star rating or leave a like, subscribe, engage in the comment section on YouTube. Pod Random, and we will talk to you next time.